Well, hello there everyone, welcome to round 9 of Season 2, my F1 2012 career mode. We're at Silverstone, I am Lovespuds, and this is my Q3 lap. So as you can see, come around the corner, our objective was 11th, so we've met that comfortably, especially after the dodgy race last time. Their expectations aren't quite as high at the moment. As I start this lap, coming around here, it's not too bad, not too bad. Using up my KERS and DRS, or using about half my KERS and my DRS. For some reason I accidentally closed it, probably because I thought I didn't have it open on the corner. But with the Mercedes I seem to be able to open the DRS earlier than normal because of the double DRS system. So coming around here, we haven't got much to say in terms of comparisons to other times, because everyone's come out at the same time. I'm towards the back of the pack. I've got a bit of room in front of me, but there is someone behind me, so I doubt he'll get past me anytime soon. But so far it's looking like it's not going to be a bad lap. I've been practicing this circuit quite a bit recently, and I just wanted to make sure I could at least challenge for pole. Front left tyre, getting a lot of wear on it though. I think this is the first track where I was using some kind of weird settings. I think I put the toe out quite a bit, but it seems to actually be helping me. Can't remember exactly what it was, but as we come across the line, it's a 1:33.7. Hamilton is 1/10 behind that.
Absolutely fantastic drive.
All British front row, British top 3. A very good weekend for the Brits. And I'm starting on pole as well, just ahead of the McLarens. Ferrari, Lotus, Schumacher down in 6th, which is okay by me as long as he's behind me. I don't mind too much.
It's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
I try not to, but I really want to win this one. It's my home Grand Prix, let's go. So, a pretty good start. Nothing too dramatic going on there. So I'm just going to try and get away from the pack if I can. Button's overtaken Hamilton into the first couple of corners. That section can be a bit dodgy. Trying to get that right, but if you get the right line you can come out of here and have some really nice top speed on this little straight here. Hamilton and Button having a little fight, which should hold them up a little bit. Allow me to get away because I've already created a 3.2 second gap from Button. Let's see if we can carry this on. Now what's been going on today? Well, today is the start of F1 testing. I know it's been a long time. Had the car reveals this week. There are still a couple to do, I think. But the testing is now underway in Spain, in Jerez, in southern Spain. And McLaren have got things off to quite a bad start, actually. As I'm looking at it here, testing's only been underway for like 10-20 minutes or so. And McLaren have already broken down. Button done 3 laps in the new MP428 and has come to a stop on turn 3. Now, that's not a good start for a team that had reliability issues last year, so it's kind of unnerving to see that, because I really wish they would do well, considering it's a really good looking car. Hopefully they can sort that out though. Doesn't look good so far. So in terms of the car reveals, there's not much difference across the board from last year's car. There are just a few little changes and tweaks basically, because there's not much in the way of regulation changes. Some of them got rid of the step nose, a couple of them kept step nose. So we'll see how that goes. Mercedes themselves have got rid of the step nose, but they've sort of modelled it slightly different to everyone else, hoping to improve the airflow around the car. but saw a bit of technical analysis from BBC saying that they can't quite see how they're going to make the step up in performance from last year, as in making it a better car than it was last year, because it was crap towards the end of the season. Because they've got to design these cars in a way that they can be upgraded. You can't just like carry the whole design for the whole season, because that's not how it works. You have to add bits to the car, take away bits, make things better, because all the other teams will be doing the same as well. And at the moment it doesn't look great for Mercedes, but we'll have to see how it performs. The Ferrari definitely looks better, looks a bit better looking than last year. Let's see how that one goes. The only car that's on track that isn't the 2013 car is the Williams car. They're going to be revealing their car at Barcelona. So don't be too surprised if Williams tops the timesheets after today, because it's their 2012 car.
Watch out for the car behind. He's only 2 seconds down on you. He might try and overtake if you make a mistake.
And the McLarens are catching up now. As well as I'm doing on this circuit, I'm still not quite up to scratch in terms of speed, but still. Yeah, what's just going on? There's only 2 seats left in F1 now. Guido van der Garde managed to get the other Caterham seat with Charles Peake, and Paul di Resta has been retained by Force India. But there's still 1 seat left at Force India, and the other one's left at Marussia with Max Chilton. So a few changes this year, only 2 seats left, so I wonder who's going to fill those. Just looking at me go around this corners. I think the button's going to be, yeah, 1.6 seconds behind now. Quite interesting. But I've just got live commentary up on here of the test that's going on right as I speak. I mean, this video will probably appear in your sub boxes by around 5-6 o'clock in the evening. Damn internet. But just looking at it now, Mercedes with Nico Rosberg, who gets the first go in the car, has clocked in with a 120.8. Followed by Massa on a 122. Oh, that was a bit of a spin there. I forgot that happened. Button's gone sliding past. Hamilton's going to put some pressure on me. Let's see if I can catch up to Button. Past form says no, but you never know. I'm not actually too bad on this circuit, especially when I'm following someone else. Getting a bit messy there, but it's okay. We'll deal with it. But yeah, as I say, a 120.8 for Nico Rosberg in a new Mercedes.
Okay, you're lapping faster in Sector 3. Use that advantage to pass the car ahead.
Yeah. The fastest car last year was around 118, 119 on the first day, I think. So let's see if he can improve that time, but it's not looking too bad. The biggest surprise, actually, in terms of cars, was the Red Bull. I mean, I know as people say McLaren sort of looks the same as it did last year, which it doesn't. I mean, it's to the untrained eye, yes, it does look the same. But in terms of looking the same, the new Red Bull, the RB9, now that's a car that looks the same as last year, pretty much. They haven't really done a lot to it. They just made a few little tweaks here and there. I suppose they couldn't do anything too outlandish because they were working on the car right up until the end in last season. But if there's a car that ever looked the same, it's that one. It's even still got the step nose on it, which if anyone can make the step nose work, it'll be Adrian Newey. So maybe it's not really producing much of an advantage not having it there. but I just think it looks prettier without it. Anyway, I'm making a move on Button as we go into these corners. I've already forgotten all the names of these corners, which is annoying. But still, gonna try and make a move on Button. I should be in his slipstream now. 3 tenths behind. Gonna make a pit stop, see if I can make a move on the inside. Go around. Oh, almost touching. Look at that. Oh, that was good. Going straight to the pit stop, and I don't know if he stayed out or not. Soon find out which one of the McLarens stayed out. It was... Blimey, I can't tell, to be honest. I think it was Hamilton. Hamilton stayed out. Button's right behind me, I think. Am I going to get held up in the pit lane? 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Yes, I'm going to get held up as everyone else leaves before me. Damn game. Right. So I'm behind Button again. So I'm going to have to overtake him on the outlap if possible. And whoever got out in front as well. I don't know who that was. If that was anyone. No, I think it was someone further down the pit lane that was just coming past, and then Button managed to get out. Definitely gives the advantage to the higher up teams, and obviously because I've got cold tyres I forget about that. Go straight off. And light rain in about 10 minutes, that's really not what I want to hear. I don't want rain to mess me up again. So now I'm going to have to do that work all over again just to get back up to Button. Meanwhile, Hamilton's out in front. Hamilton's out in front, probably creating a gap, and I very much doubt he'll be held up in the pits. I don't know why the engineer gets so chatty at times. I mean, he's full of useless information anyway. You go for a while without hearing anything, and he just goes blah 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 blah. Anyway. Giving me false information as well. Oh, Codemasters, what are you doing? What are you doing? 1.6 to Button now. Hulkenberg's 1.5 behind, so he shouldn't be in our DRS zone at least, which is quite nice. I can make up a lot of time in this final section though. This corner I seem to be able to brake a lot later than these guys. I think that's is probably more down to it being a professional difficulty setting. I guess so. Maybe they brake a bit later in Legend. But cars are exiting the pits now. Let's see who we've got coming out alongside us. Hamilton should be up front there somewhere. We've got a Lotus in front of us as well, which I think is Grosjean. Yes, it is. Now we've got to get past 3 cars, should I say. Just get up there. Let's see if we can do this. We're going to manage to get DRS on Button, I think. I wasn't quite looking at the time. I just got this the second monitor to my left, just looking at all the things that are going on in Jerez. Button's making a move on Grosjean up the inside. He's managed to make it stick, and I'm going to try the same. Just touching a little bit there. Still making it stick. Just needs to hang on to the end of Button. Had to slow down a little bit there because I think I was slightly losing the line, the racing line going through those corners. So I had to slow it down a tiny bit to regain my my racing line. Don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know why half you people listen to me sometimes. I spout out a load of shit as I go up the inside. But he has the inside line on these 2 corners, but I just have the power to get around him onto the start-finish straight. Now this is the tricky one. Now I've got to catch up Hamilton, who's got a lot of clear space up in front of me, and I've got to be defensive against Button. Yeah, I can just see him over there. It's about 3 seconds, 2-3 seconds ahead of me, so I'm not going to get DRS anytime soon. But this is the point where they usually flick it up to the rich fuel mix and gain a few extra tenths or even seconds on me. Unfortunately, coupled with that, I have a higher tyre wear rate, so it's not impossible, but driving this car definitely makes it a bit harder. I have to see what sort of contract offers I'll get at the end of this season. Obviously, I'm not going to stay at Mercedes. Obviously, ultimately, my goal is to be at McLaren, ideally with Button, because he's a guy I'd rather partner. I've got nothing against Hamilton, but I'm just more of a Button fan, and I'd love to be his teammate. Sort of jealous of Perez, because he is my age.
Okay, it looks like the car ahead
He gets to drive with Button. That bastard. Oh well. Maybe in another life. I don't quite know who's retired though, I didn't notice that. Someone's dropped out the race, 23 cars. I still think it's a real shame that HRT have dropped out, even though they were never going to be out off the end of the constructors' table. There's 22 cars, man. I would have liked to have seen a couple more teams in there, but apparently if the numbers get below 20, I don't know if it's below 20 or 18 or something, then you can actually have third cars on the grid, so you could end up having 3 Ferraris running around, which I suppose is okay, because you know, if there's not many cars on the grid, it will definitely get even more boring. So I suppose you got to bump up the numbers somehow. Because everyone just sees Formula 1 as the person who wins the race and championship, which to a large extent, yes, it is. But the fights that go on in the rest of the field, down the midfield to the back, they are pretty interesting as well, because they're fighting for well, their driver's position for one, and they're also fighting for the constructors as well. And the further up the table the constructors go, the more money they get. So, you know, it's quite interesting to see how well the other teams do as well, because let's face it, a lot of the other teams down the lower end are never going to win a race anytime soon, unless they have a Red Bull moment where they come up from the midfield and suddenly start winning 3 championships in a row. I mean, unless that happens, they're never going to really win a race, so they've got to do the best they can. And they have their own little battles. And I do find it quite interesting to see how those go, because they're more unpredictable, because a lot of the time they're less experienced drivers and they can end up crashing into each other, and we all have a good crash sometimes, don't we? You know, it's always a bit of a funny thing to see when you see a difference in experience between the people at the front and the people at the back. Because as you saw in Abu Dhabi last year, Vettel making that move on Button. I know Vettel's really quite young for a mature racing driver, but he was able to go wheel to wheel Button and not make contact.
Fuel is looking okay, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Compare that with people like Grosjean, Perez.
We've only got a few laps left to pass this guy, so if you're going to
Grosjean and Perez, when they tried to go around each other on the same set of corners, they made contacts and totally messed it up, basically, and ruined Mark Webber's day. But that's the element of drama that you need in Formula 1. You need people making mistakes now and then. If they were all perfect and no one made any mistakes, there'd be no crashes, no anything. It would kind of get a little bit dull down that end. But at the same time, I do love the close wheel-to-wheel racing and there not being any contact, because it just demonstrates how much skill these guys have in the cars that, quite frankly, are freaking monsters. I know people moan at them all the time saying, oh, you don't take enough risks and all that, but the amount of stuff they got to do in the cockpit, I mean, look at the steering wheel on this car, for crying out loud. There's so many things on there, you have to know what they do and all that. I mean, obviously you'd pick it up quite easily after a while, but they got so much to think about. Bloody rich fuel mix, DRS, KERS and all that rubbish, that and it, how they can manage to race is it's quite a miracle sometimes. You have to be so multi-talented. I mean, I know they're not, I know people go back and look at the greats. You got Fangio, Senna and all the others. Sorry, I'm just looking at what's on the screen here. Set the fastest lap. Very nice. And I look back at the greats, but they were greats of their time. I mean, if you plonked Fangio in today's cars, he wouldn't have a clue, but he'd know how to race. It's different people for different eras. You can't really compare people from the 60s, 70s to people of today. You just can't do it. I mean, I prefer to think of greats who were great in their era. But anyway, as my conversation skills peter out, sometimes I do alright on those corners. At first I hated them, going around the corners like that, but I've sort of found the right line and felt my confidence going a bit higher. And I can really chuck it into those corners sometimes. But unfortunately, as you can see, as I've been waffling away, I haven't really closed the gap to Hamilton. I've sort of kept it a bit constant, sort of going up between 3 and 4 seconds a lap, or each lap should I say. Button is still threatening me though, being 8 tenths behind. It is unfortunate though that the pit stop has managed to cost me that first place, because seeing as Hamilton was about 2 or 3 seconds ahead of me after the pit stop phase, if I wasn't held there for 3 seconds more than I needed to be, I would have been up there already, straight away fighting with him, which is very unfortunate. So, although my driving's not great, I probably think the team cost me the victory today. But still, second place isn't too shabby, and it still keeps me in sort of contention. But I do need to start winning races again pretty soon. Canada seems like a long way away. But coming up next time is the Hockenheim Ring, and that's a track that I'm surprisingly fast at. I don't know why, I just am. So we just have to see how it goes next time. But this time we come home in second place, behind Hamilton, who would probably be right up the top again in the drivers. As the rain starts to come down, we've just missed that as well, which I'm so grateful for, because obviously I'm still having trouble driving in the wet. Schumacher finished down in 9th, unfortunately, which doesn't give us many points in the constructors.
Second place, brilliant driving, brilliant driving.
But a great result for the fans though. 3 British people on the podium. That's what we like to see. And then Grosjean, Alonso, Webber, Raikkonen and Massa all ahead of Schumacher there. 20 points for the team, unfortunately. So McLaren should I'm messing my words up. McLaren should build up a bit more of a gap And Kamui Kobayashi was the DNF on that race. Started in 7th and crashed out there, unfortunately. So 1 point for Sauber today. Not a good
You've
day.
moved into 3rd position in the Drivers' Championship.
But I am in 3rd position with 117 points. Lewis Hamilton's starting to run away with things. He's got a lead of 17 points from Button, and I'm 29 points behind Hamilton, so he's a race win ahead of me. So I need to start catching up soon, because it's starting to come to the midpoint of the season where things start to hot up, and need to make a move, make my mark on the championship. And Sebastian Vettel down there in 12th. Oh jeez, 19 points. Can't be happy with that, surely. But yeah, there's the rest of the field. Nothing too dramatic going on there. Caterham's doing well, 15th and 16th. Williams doing okay, 10th and 11th. But yeah, as I say, McLaren, Mercedes up at the top, 52 points. That's how we have to. Me and Schumacher have to get a 1-2 to actually be close to that, and them not score any points. So they've got a comfortable lead. But yeah, let's celebrate a 2nd place. Shame it wasn't the win, but you know what this game's like with pit stops and holding you in, not taking any risks. But yeah, anyway, let's go back. Let's go to Germany next time, for round 10, halfway point in the season. I'll see you then.